welcome to this week's video. For this week, I'm doing my book haul for the month of December. That is showing off a few books from that pile to hopefully lessen that pile. But we still have those piles you can't see off screen and a whole crap ton of piles you can't see right now. And if you missed my vlog, my latest vlog where I talk about my New Year's resolutions, and one of them is to not buy any books this year. That is the plan, because I have so many books in piles around here that it's getting a little out of hand. So, no new books, no adding to the piles in 2024. Right now, I'm feeling very strongly about that. Let's see if my resolve weakens as the months go by. But yeah, that means no books from free libraries, no books from library sales, none of that, because it's not about, thankfully, it's not about the financial aspect, because for like book money and stuff, like I'm okay there. It's the space. Your girl needs more space. So the plan is to not acquire any more books this year, for a year, in the hopes of lessening these piles. So, thankfully, I have so many piles that we will not be low on any book haul videos this year. I still have enough right now to easily continue with these book hauls for the rest of the year. No lie. That will not be a problem. So, let's get to this month's pile, and we will have a new giveaway, which I should have grabbed that book to get for you guys. Give me 1 second. Oh, check out my Stranger Things t-shirt. Mornings are for coffee and contemplation. So, yes, we are doing the books for the month of December along with a new giveaway. So let's get into the book haul. And again, we were showing off the books, reading the back blurbs, and yeah. So let's get into the first book. Is by Bryce Courtenay's The Power of One and Tandia. So this is a duology. I remember watching the movie a very long time ago. And I remember loving it, but I don't remember much about it. So I will likely be doing a reaction to that. I remember that it was Stephen Dorff and Morgan Freeman. And it took place in Africa during apartheid, I believe. I finally found the movie to react to, thankfully. And for some reason, it was a very hard movie to find. Like, I know that, likely I could have gone on to, Amazon and ordered it and all that stuff, but, I mean, in terms of, in a brick-and-mortar store, it was a very hard book to find. Hard movie to find, but I finally did. And, then in the same store, I found the book, which I had never read. But you know how I say, if there is a book-to-movie adaptation, always watch the movie first. Always, always, always. Because you are less likely to bitch if you watch the movie first. Because if you read the book first, then you're just gonna nitpick in the movie all the stuff they cut out, and oh, they changed this, and na 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 na. If you watch the movie first and you love the movie, then you can read the book and have more of the thing that you love, and you're less likely to nitpick. So that is a hill that I will die on. So, very excited to read this book, and I didn't know that there was a sequel. I had no idea. And it's called Tandia. And so this one comes with the first book and the second book. So let's read the blurb. Blurb's not that big. Bryce Courtenay's best-selling duo is brought together in one extraordinary volume for the first time. The Power of Love and its sequel, Tandia, are spellbinding tales of cruelty, love, and faith, filled with unforgettable characters and told with great compassion and humor. That tells you nothing. And I know that there are some people that like that. They like going into a novel sort of knowing nothing. I am not one of those people. So if I didn't already know the movie and the story that was behind this, I would not have picked this up. But because I do know the movie and I do know what the story is, it is about it takes place in Africa during apartheid, and I'm trying to this is based on what I remember from the movie, which is not much. And there's this little white boy named PK, and the adult version of him is played by Stephen Dorff. And he's trying to help in the apartheid fight. You see him as a small child, and you follow him into adulthood as he tries to help in the fight. And Morgan Freeman is a character as well. And I don't remember. I remember there's a girl, a redheaded girl, that PK falls in love with. And I believe something happens to her. But I don't want to spoil. And yeah. I'll just have to wait and see when I watch the movie again. But yeah, that's sort of the gist of this. So looking forward to that. Next we have just this gorgeous, gorgeous version, Paper Mill Press edition of look Charlotte Bronte's Jane Eyre. And there's the back cover, metallic as well, and it's so pretty. Oh, it's so beautiful. And this is, without a doubt, still the top classic that I have ever read. Below this is Ruth by Elizabeth Gaskell. And I still don't have a number 3. Pride and Prejudice, I did not enjoy. Wuthering Heights, I hated. And Persuasion is only... I enjoyed that book, but I wouldn't put it in the number 3 slot, just because I'm finding Charlotte Bronte's writing, Jane Austen's writing does not work for me. I don't like her writing style. I don't like how it takes her 17 words to make a one sentence point. I don't know, because I know that like back then a lot of writers were paid by the word, so I'm not sure if that's what was going on, but just no, her writing style just does not work for me. But in terms of Pride and Prejudice versus Persuasion, Persuasion is so much the better book. So much more. I enjoyed the characters in that so much more than Pride and Prejudice. I cannot stand Elizabeth Bennet. I can't stand her. She's insufferable to me. So, no. Just no. But Jane Eyre, Charlotte Bronte is still number 1. Ruth by Elizabeth Gaskell is number 2. We're on the search for number 3, y'all. We're on the search for number 3. We haven't found her yet. So, I don't think that the blurb is in this, but there's the little back quote. I have little left in myself. I must have you. The world may laugh, may call me absurd, selfish, but it does not signify. My very soul demands you. It will be satisfied, or it will take deadly vengeance on its frame. And so Jane Eyre is the story of the title character, Jane Eyre, and she is taken in, I think she starts off in an orphanage and is taken in by an aunt who is just a horrible person. She's taken in by this horrible extended family, and ends up getting a job as a governess to working for a Mr. Rochester. And she falls in love with Mr. Rochester. But Mr. Rochester has a secret or two. He is a widow? Question mark. And they're in his house. Jane starts to experience some strange things going on. So it's sort of gothic-y historical romance. And I know that some people who like to complain about men talk about how Mr. Rochester is toxic and blah blah blah, and that he has all these like bad characteristics, and he is like a human person and not a cardboard cutout of the perfect man, which is all some people seem to want to read. I'm sorry, give me all the imperfect hot mess men, thank you. And show me them developing and evolving and becoming better people. Show me that journey. I will not write off a guy who is not a cardboard cutout of the perfect person, perfect hero, right off the bat, just because some people seem to think that that is the only hero that you should write. You should only write perfect men who always do the right thing, and who always make the right decisions, and who always treat women perfectly. No, I'm perfectly willing to go on an asshat journey to watch him develop and evolve into a better man. I am perfectly willing to go on that journey. I don't want to read about boring, perfect men who always do the right thing and always make the right choices. And just, no, I'm sorry, no. I have no interest in that. Just, no thank you. You can keep that. But then don't go on, you enjoy what you want to enjoy. Leave us to enjoy what we want to enjoy. and save your typing fingers on these reams of essays of why Mr. Darcy is toxic, Mr. Rochester is toxic, and paragraphs of just mind-numbing, navel-gazing garbage. I'm sorry. We're not here to go into that. We are here for a book haul. But I just had to, because I know that there are thoughts out there about Mr. Rochester. I don't care. I don't care. I love this book. I love his romance with Jane Eyre. Love it. So, there we go. Next, and I remember finding this one in a free little library, and it is The Kindly Ones by John Little, or Littell, and he is a big boy. And let me read the back blurb. This one is a bit of a, yeah, this one is an actual blurb. Oh, my human brothers, let me tell you how it happened. So begins the chilling story of Dr. Maximilian Aue, a former Nazi officer who has reinvented himself many years after the war as a middle-class family man and factory owner in France. Max is an intellectual steeped in philosophy, literature, and classical music. He is also a cold-blooded assassin and consummate bureaucrat who speaks out now, not in self-justification, but to set the record straight. He looks back at his life to a disrupted childhood and troubled student days, and to his role as an observer and then participant in Nazi atrocities on the Eastern Front. From the Ukraine to the Caucasus, he is present at the siege of Stalingrad, at the death camps, and is finally caught up in the rout of the Nazis and the nightmarish fall of Berlin. Although Max is a totally imagined character, his world is peopled by real historical figures, such as Eichmann, Himmler, Goering, Speer, Heydrich, Haas, and Hitler himself. Through Max's clear-eyed recollections, and we experience in disturbingly precise detail some of the war's darkest moments and the Nazi genocide of the Jews. Supreme historical epic. We move on to The Story Girl by Lucy Maud Montgomery, author of Anne of Green Gables, one of my favorite books. And so I absolutely love her books, and I love that series. Let me just take a drink here. And let's get into the blurb. Okay. Lucy Maud Montgomery, author of the world-famous Anne books, works her magic again in this unusual and highly entertaining story set in the heart of Prince Edward Island. The young enchantress here is Sarah Stanley, known affectionately as the Story Girl. Sarah keeps her cousins, aunts, uncles, friends, and neighbors spellbound the whole summer with endless tales and legends that capture the joy, humor, and mystery of days gone by. Lovable characters of all ages fill the pages of this delightful book. Sarah's playmates, the King children, Felicity, Cecily, Felix, Beverly, and Dan, the awkward man who couldn't talk to ladies, Peg Bowen, the witch who cast terrible spells upon all her enemies, Peter Craig, the love-struck hired boy, and weeping Sarah Ray, whose mother forbade her to join in any fun. So, I remember Sarah Stanley as being a character in the TV show Road to Avonlea. And I remember watching a few episodes here and there, and I need to actually, watch the whole thing, because I did sort of enjoy that series. And they don't mention him here, but I wonder if he goes by another name here, and like, did they change his name in the show? Because there was a character named Gus in the show, and he and Felicity King end up a couple. And I remember I definitely shipped them so hard. I shipped Felicity and Gus so damn hard in just the few episodes that I had seen. So I am very much interested in watching the whole series eventually. So definitely want to read this. Not only because it's Lucy Maud Montgomery, but like I said, I watched a little bit of the TV show first, so I know that I'm going to enjoy this book. Even if it wasn't written by Lucy Maud Montgomery, which that is already a given. I know that I will love it. So, looking forward to that. Next is a Andrew M. Greeley book, Angels of September. And he is the priest who writes sexy romance, sort of epic kind of romance, not necessarily romance novels, but there is romance, there's a heavy romance subplot or plot in his books. And I remember being kind of like surprised that it was a priest who was writing this, because I think I remember in the, there's no, I don't remember seeing anything that said it was a former priest, but yeah, and I remember reading and enjoying, it was the Cardinal Sins that I had read and enjoyed. Thy Brother's Wife, I did not enjoy that book because the priest in that book was a homophobic piece of shit. And I'm looking forward to reading his other books. Ascent into Hell, Lord of the Dance, Virgin, and Martyr. So let's get into the blurb for that one. This is the story of Anne Riley and Michael Casey, school children when they first tasted desire, an experience so overwhelming that neither of them has ever forgotten it, so frightening that both of them have been running from it ever since. Now in her middle years, Anne is a strikingly beautiful woman who suddenly discovers the full ripening of her intense sensuality, a woman for whom the church has been the source both of her terrible anguish and the strength that holds her together. An explosion rocks Anne's art gallery on the eve of the posthumous exhibit of the works of Chicago's notorious mad priest, Father Desmond Kenney. When he comes to investigate, Deputy Superintendent of Police Michael Casey finds Anne miraculously unhurt but badly shaken. How are her terrors connected to the diabolical visions in Kenney's paintings, and to the fire that has haunted her all these years, the fire at the Mother of Angels school that claimed 90 of her schoolmates, including her 2 sisters? Terrifying, inexplicable events continue to assault the Riley Gallery, the smell of smoke, discernible only to Anne, disturbing phone calls that no one else hears, changes that she can detect in Kenney's demonic canvas, divine justice, the cornerstone of the exhibit. Is Anne imagining it all? Does she possess an unconscious, destructive, telekinetic energy? Is some satanic force at work? Is Father Kenney reaching out to her from the other side of the grave? As Anne explores with her psychiatrist the fears and guilts that have assailed her since childhood, And as Michael enlists the help of Father Blackie Ryan in unraveling the mystery that surrounds Anne, Andrew Greeley, priest, sociologist, and prolific religious writer and best-selling author of The Cardinal Sins, The Brothers, blah, 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 spins a mesmerizing tale of complex and fallible human beings trying to find faith and love in our contemporary world, a story as deeply satisfying as love itself. So, I am really looking forward to this. Oh my goodness. But yeah, I remember being like really surprised that it's a priest who writes like these kinds of books and being very happy to know that. So, very much looking forward to this one. Next we have our dearly departed queen of historical romance, Julie Garwood, in Saving Grace. My favorite book of hers is still For the Roses. Later on, she kind of moved into romantic suspense, which was not necessarily my thing, but I adored her historical romances. When Lady Joanna learned that she was a widow, she vowed she would never marry again. She was only 16, gentle in nature and pure of heart, but already she possessed a composure and a strength of will that would impress all who looked past the beauty of her blue eyes and her shimmering golden hair. King John had his own reasons to want the lovely widow remarried, but her late husband's land holdings enabled Joanna to circumvent the king's decree for a time, and when it seemed she must acquiesce to the king's demand and the bridegroom he had chosen for her, it was her beloved foster brother Baron Nicholas who offered a way out of the quandary. Joanna could wed Gabriel MacBain, the mighty warrior who was overseer of her Scottish property, a man Nicholas had come to know and admire. Seeing no other choice, Lady Joanna married the great handsome laird, and moved to the Highlands to live amongst a clan who, it was soon apparent, had no great fondness for Englishwomen. At first Joanna was shy, especially with Gabriel, who surprised her by insisting she sleep beside him every night. As he tenderly, patiently revealed the splendid pleasures they would share, Joanna came to realize that she adored sleeping in her husband's bed, and to suspect that she was falling in love with him. Gabriel liked to tease his sometimes gullible bride, and he was clearly impressed when she began to speak her mind regarding clan affairs. Yet he was as stunned as the other MacBains when she snatched up a weapon and openly defied the laird of a rival clan, forcing the man to back down. Joanna's bright spirits and brave deeds soon won the admiration of Gabriel's clan, from a wayward young boy to the crustiest of the elders, and it was apparent to all that the brusque, gallant warrior had surrendered his heart completely. But now a desperate royal intrigue threatened to tear her from his side, and to destroy the man whose love meant more to her than she had ever dreamed. So, I know that I'm going to love this book, and I'm very much looking forward to reading it. Next we have another Lucy Maud Montgomery anthology, and this one is At the Altar, Matrimonial Tales. 18 newly discovered stories. So very much looking forward to this one. Let's get into the back blurb. Stern parents, awkward circumstances, misunderstandings, lovers' quarrels, and one very determined cat are some of the many hindrances that Montgomery's characters find themselves battling on the way to the altar. But Montgomery helps her lovers overcome these obstacles to true love by a wonderful assortment of means. Maiden aunts come to the rescue, 2 pairs of twins play major roles, a marauding pig is an unusual cupid, the lovers themselves come up with striking solutions. Whatever storms they must weather on the sea of love, whether they are rich or poor, young or old, trembling with romance or properly practical, in Montgomery's hands, courting couples seem destined to live happily ever after. So I'm very much looking forward to this. I will read anything that Lucy Maud Montgomery wrote because she is just that good. And I just adore her writing style so very much. Next we have The Memory Wood by Sam Lloyd. And I know that this one is a mystery. When Elijah stumbles across 13-year-old Alyssa in the woods where her abductor is hiding her, he refuses to alert the police because in his 12 years, Elijah has never had a real friend and he doesn't want Alyssa to leave. Elijah also knows how this can end. After all, Alyssa isn't the first girl he's found in the memory wood. As her abductor's behavior grows more erratic, Alyssa realizes that outwitting strange, lonely Elijah is her only hope of survival. Their cat-and-mouse game of deception and betrayal will determine both their fates and whether either of them will ever leave the memory wood. Now, I am not a big mystery fan. Except, like, particularly the sort of whodunit types of mysteries. Like, as much as I can kind of respect, obviously, the talent of people like Agatha Christie and, you know, like, those kind of murder mystery type of books and, like, cozy mysteries and, like, no, those are not my kind of mystery. I don't really go for those kind of mysteries. I love sort of stories like this, where it's like, you know, like children who are like either like kidnapped and like one of them escapes, but they have secrets, and or like just sort of like involving like secrets around like the actual like mystery. I'm not so much for the whodunit type of mysteries, but more of like the sort of like mystery surrounding the characters themselves, and like that kind of stuff. Don't get me wrong, I love watching like true crime documentaries, or what I call the husband, wife, boyfriend, girlfriend, father, son, brother, sister did it shows. I love those. But in terms of actually like reading, I love more of those like mysteries set around kind of like secrets. Yeah, those are the kind of like mystery novels that I like. And like about, and like these, like about like, you know, like kidnapped children, but like they're like trying to escape, and you know, like the secrets sort of like surrounding that, and yeah, so definitely looking forward to this one. And it's funny because I only sort of really got into this genre. I just kind of fell into it. I think it was one of the booktubers that I'm subscribed to, Riley, who she usually does sort of horror, mystery, romance. She has like a good mix, but fantasy. She has a good mix of genres sort of on her YouTube, but she's very sort of horror forward. And I believe it was her that I first started hearing about Karen Slaughter. I think it was her. And if it wasn't her, then I can't think who else it was. But she's the first person that like sort of comes to mind because she does like those kind of books. And just the way that she was talking about Karen Slaughter, and then I happened to find one of her books, which was Pieces of Her. And that has been the first and only Karen Slaughter that I've read thus far. And it was absolutely one of my favorite books of 2023. Absolutely. So much so that I have other Karen Slaughter books on my TBR, but I haven't read them yet because I'm kind of afraid what if I don't enjoy them as much, because I loved Pieces of Her so much that I'm kind of afraid to try her other like books. Like, has anybody else like sort of ever felt like that? Like, you discover a new author, but then you're afraid that their other books sort of won't live up to what that first book did to you. I don't know if I'm the only person. And so the last book that we're going to talk about today and show off is Eileen Gouge's Blessing in Disguise. And she is the writer of Garden of Truth. Oh, Garden of Lies. Garden of Lies and Thorns of Truth, I believe, is the sequel, which I didn't know that there was a sequel. So I'm very happy that I have that one on my shelf. I also read of her Such Devoted Sisters, which I loved. So she writes the kind of epic family saga, melodramatic, crazy sauce, soapy drama that I love. So I'm very much looking forward to reading this one. And let's read the blurb. Grace Truscott is the daughter who reveals her father's shocking secret, only to discover that she has opened a Pandora's box even she could not have anticipated. In her biography of her father, I'm sorry, my voice is getting all... A famous civil rights senator, she raises questions about a disturbing death from the past. Was her father guilty of killing Ned Emery, the husband of his black secretary? Only one other person knows what really happened, and she won't talk. Nola Emery, the secretary's daughter, was a witness to the killing, but is guarding a dark secret of her own. An architect on the brink of a brilliant career, she is anonymously designing a memorial to the dead senator, one that Truscott's widow can never know she created. Cordelia Truscott has devoted years to her dream of building the Eugene Truscott Memorial Library, but will her efforts turn to dust when the scandal she kept under wraps is unleashed? A Southern lady to the core, she must look for answers not in the hidebound traditions of her childhood, but in the future and in the rare beauty of her lush Georgia garden, where a man whose passion she never expected is waiting for her. While Grace wrestles with her own past, she's caught up in the romance and heartbreak of a new love and a modern age struggle to meld his children and hers into a new family. So, there's a mystery, there's family secrets. I am all about that. So, cannot wait to read this. So, for this month's giveaway, I am giving away Tandia by Bryce Courtney. Now, if you go all the way to the beginning of this video, you will see that the first book that I talked about was the duology of Power of One and Tandia. Now, I got this book before I found The Power of One, the novel, and then I saw that it was the one that I found actually had the second book together. So I decided to get that one and give this one away because I already have it in the duology. So, if you would like to get this book, all you have to do is leave me a comment in the comments box below, letting me know that you want to get this book. And if you can, let's see, what kind of emoji? Leave a sun emoji. Like a sun. yeah, leave like a yellow sun emoji with your comment if you would like to be entered to get this book. And I will pick a winner in the January book haul video. So this is the December book haul video. So you will, when you see the title that says January book haul video, that's the video where I will pick the winner for this book. So make sure that you're subscribed and hit the little notification belly thing, and so that you know when that video goes up. So that's going to be it for this week's video. Let me know if you have read any of these books and sort of what you thought of them, which ones, without spoiling obviously, and which one are you most excited for me to read first. And yeah, I will follow me on Twitter at twitter.com/authorejamie, like my Facebook page at facebook.com/authorejamie, and I will talk to you guys next time. Bye!